folks, I'm Patrick Hall from Lakes Region Community College. I'm going to create something for you today that you're going to absolutely love and you're going to absolutely die for. Okay, people always ask me, what do I do with my steaks? Okay, and I prepare steaks a million different ways. Okay, but I'm telling you right now, this is one of the greatest cuts of steaks. What I got going on here for you today that I'm going to make a full dish. Okay, it's going to be a grilled ribeye steak. Okay, it's going to be topped with bacon and wild mushroom gorgonzola cream sauce. I'm going to do a little Southwest potato hash, and we're going to do some green beans almondine. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with this steak right here. This is a ribeye steak, and when people choose steaks, generally they'll take a look and they try to find the most lean steaks that they could possibly find when they go in there. And people always ask me, how do you choose a steak? Well, number one, I don't go anything less than choice. Prime is as much as possible. Some people are more price conscious, okay, but for me, if I'm going to be eating a steak, it's going to be a good steak. And you also have to recognize the amount of fat that's inside of your steak. If you choose a ribeye, a lot of people want to take and look at a nice steak that has no fat inside of it. Okay, this is called marbling, and that fat is really good because when you grill it, it makes it fat taste really good, and then at the same time, it makes it nice and tender. So what we're going to do is we're going to prepare our steak first, all right? And so what I do to prepare my steak is, first of all, I'm going to take a little bit of salt and pepper, okay? And what we have to do is kind of hold it way up here and just sprinkle it down with salt and pepper. Chefs mix their salt and pepper just like so. And we want to cover all sides of your steak. And then we're going to flip it over. Do the same side then, okay? I'll rub it down with a little bit of garlic. All right, and a lot of people think that, you know, if you have garlic and you use a lot of it there, every time any chef cooks, they use a lot of garlic. But really, garlic, once it cooks, gets more mild. You just got to be careful not to burn it, okay? So we're just going to rub it down with a little garlic and then salt and pepper. And then last but not least, I got some Worcestershire sauce. And what I do when you grill steaks and you want to prepare them is you want to let them sit out for a little bit. You want to get a nice room temperature so you get a nice even cooking steak. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of cover that with a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, a little salt, a little pepper, and some garlic, all right? And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put that aside, okay? And then afterwards, once that sits for about like an hour or so, we're going to go and we're going to grill this, all right, and put it. So we're going to put this aside. I'm going to make my potato hash for you next. All right, folks, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make a nice potato hash. So what I go out and I do, and this is very simple, I'm using some Yukon Gold potatoes. Okay, Yukon Gold potatoes have a nice soft skin to them, and I keep the skins on to make it look a little rustic, and it kind of adds some flavor and some texture to it. So I got Yukon Gold potatoes, and what I'm going to do is I'm also going to add a little bit of onion, okay? And I'm going to add some green peppers, some red peppers, and some red peppers. Some of these are serrano peppers, so it's got a little bit of heat to it, okay? And we're going to use those as well. I got some garlic that we're going to use, salt and pepper, all right? And we're just going to go ahead and we're going to caramelize these up in our pan. So I have a little bit of oil, and we're going to add a little oil to this pan, okay? And pretty much what you're making is just almost like a home fry, okay? You cut these potatoes small enough, all right? Small enough so that they cook in the pan. Otherwise, you're going to either have to blanch them or you're going to have to roast them first if they're too thick, okay? But we keep them nice and small. So we're going to do this Southwest potato hash. I'm going to start off with my onions first, all right? It's going to be a nice complement to our steak. Put a little bit of onion inside here. All right. And we're just going to go ahead. And what I want to do is I just want to go ahead and caramelize these onions a little bit. Get them going right inside that pan. And turn up the heat a little bit. You can always turn up the heat just to get a little bit of color on it. And then you turn it back down. All right. As they start to cook down, they're going to get a little bit translucent. And that's when you start knowing that you're going to start adding your other ingredients. Okay, so it doesn't take very long. What I'm using here is an induction burner. Okay, an induction burner works with magnetics. Okay, so when when you're using this, you have to have a steel bottom pan, and this is what we use here at the college for every student. Every station has an induction burner. Comes in really good. You can get them for your home as well. And it doesn't use any fire or anything else like that. So what we're doing is we're just sweating down these onions. Okay, next I'm going to add my peppers. Nice multicolored pepper right in there. I also have some scallions I'm going to put a little bit later on. You don't want to put the scallions in now because they're a little bit more delicate than the onions. And what's going to happen is that they'll lose their color. You want this nice and bright. We're just going to cook those down a little bit. I'm going to push these around the side, okay? Kind of make like a little hole inside the middle. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add my potatoes to this. And I'm just going to spread them out in the pan. Just like so. Right? And almost like I'm like making like a potato pancake. I'm just going to flatten these out. Add a little bit more oil. And I'm also going to add some butter. Now normally if you just add butter to the pan and you cook these just with butter, the butter will burn because they got milk solids. If you take a little bit of oil and you put the butter inside there, then it'll allow it to not burn. So you have the butter. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to season this up. Salt and pepper. Chefs mix the salt and pepper together. Put it up here. Make sure we cover it all. Alright, potatoes will absorb a pretty good amount of flavorings, so you want to go ahead and use quite enough. And we're just going to go ahead and cook these down. I have garlic, okay, but I'm not going to add the garlic quite yet, because if I add it now, by the time the cooking process is over with, the garlic will be burnt, okay, and it'll turn sour. Very simple. Onions, salt, pepper, some butter, multicolored peppers. Okay, we're just going to cook these down, okay, until they're nice and brown. All right, so what we're going to do next is I got some green beans over here. All right, I've washed them. I've taken the ends off of them. Okay, just like so. And we're all ready to go. Okay, sometimes you can go ahead with this dish. What we're doing is we're making green beans almond-y. I also have some whole almonds. Okay, we've toasted these. These are tamari almonds. They got a little bit of tamari on them, and then we're going to use those for our green beans almond-y. I also have my garlic and my salt and pepper, and I got some white wine. Okay, and then I also have my olive oil again, and we got some butter as well. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to saute these. Saute means high heat, small amount of fat. I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil inside there. Okay, and I want to have that butter flavor in there. But once again, can't add cold butter to a pan, all right, and expect it not to burn, okay? So you put a little oil inside of there first, and you can go ahead and use butter when you're cooking. All right, so I got my green beans. This is going to be for our steak dish. This is going to be fantastic. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and add my green beans right to this. All right, and we're just going to go ahead and saute these up a little bit and get them cooked. All right, next, I'm going to go ahead and add my almonds. I keep them nice and whole. I like the looks of them. All right, I like the mouthfeel of them when you're eating them. I'm just going to go ahead and saute these up a little bit. And what I'm going to do, as these are cooking inside the pan, I'm going to go ahead and add my salt and pepper. All right. Alright, so what you can see what I'm doing, okay, is I try to focus on techniques, alright? When I'm cooking green beans, okay, I want to get these to, I don't want them mushy and I don't want them overcooked. Okay, so a lot of times I'll start them raw and cook them inside the pan. You can blanch them off if you want to and flash them really quick, but I just go right ahead with these, okay, because I like the flavor of them in the way they cook up. So we just added salt and pepper. I have my green beans, I got my almonds. Okay, you want to cook these al dente. Okay, al dente is a French terminology. It means to the bite or to the tooth. We're just going to go ahead and saute those up. I'm going to add a little bit of garlic at this point in time. You can always check these. Go ahead and feel them. Okay, they still feel a little bit crunchy. All right, add that garlic to it. Now I have some white wine. I'm just going to add quite a bit of this white wine because what I want this to do is I want this to reduce. All right, I want it to cook down. And once you add the wine to it, all the alcohol comes out of it, and it makes a nice little flavor for your green beans. So we got a little salt, pepper, garlic, okay, and our almonds. Very simple, very easy. This is going to be green beans almondine that we're going to serve with our grilled ribeye steak and our Gorgonzola sauce. All right, now we're going to make one of the best things about this dish. Okay, this is my favorite. Okay, we're going to make a nice bacon mushroom Gorgonzola sauce that's going to be right over the top of our steak. It's going to be fantastic. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start off first by adding a little bit of oil. We're going to saute up these mushrooms. Okay, I got some onion. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the pan. Once again, a little bit of onion. We're just going to get that going. And we're just going to cook those onions down so that they're translucent a little bit, okay? So they start to just kind of sweat down and cook. Alright, so now what I use for mushrooms, I have a little bit of shiitake mushrooms, I got some button mushrooms, okay, and I also have some oyster mushrooms. I really like the different types of exotic mushrooms that we can use. We're going to go ahead and add those to this. We're just going to go ahead and cook those down a little bit. I like a lot of mushrooms. So let's put those in there. So, we're going to saute those up, flip them up around. Careful not to burn yourself. Alright, we're just going to cook these mushrooms. Mushrooms got a lot of moisture in them, but I love the flavor of mushrooms, especially the different exotic mushrooms that we have. They obtain a lot of water, okay? So next what I'm going to do is I have some bacon. I already cooked it off. I'm going to add some bacon right to this. Now I'm not going to season this, okay, because it's got a lot of salt. I'll probably just put a little bit of pepper inside here. Alright, but no salt. Alright, so once we get those sauteing, I have some heavy cream here, okay? This is a low-fat dish, don't worry. I've been eating for years, and I'm fine. Just kidding. Alright, so we got some heavy cream. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of that cream to this. Alright? I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit because it's going to simmer. Alright, what we're trying to do is we're just trying to reduce this down. Okay? Now, you can see that I'm measuring all my ingredients out, right? Wrong. Okay, what's the difference between cooking and baking? Okay, if you were baking and you had a cake mix and you took a handful of baking powder and you threw it inside there, all right, what would the cake do? It would blow up, okay? If I took a handful of peas and threw it in here right now, what would it do? Well, I hope you like peas, okay? So that's the difference between cooking and baking. Baking is a formula. It's a science. Cooking, we're using judgment, so I can just eye things. A lot of people get very nervous about cooking, and they want to they want to have exact measurements. Okay, it's okay if you have a little extra onion in there. It's okay if you have a little extra garlic. Okay, it's going to cook down. All right, and you'll learn as you go along with your ingredients. So I got my cream in here. I have my mushrooms. I have my bacon. I'm going to add some scallions, and I'm going to add some chives as well. I like the mixture of the two. And the way they look inside the sauce. So as this reduces down, I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese to this. Just a little bit. Alright, and as soon as you add that in there, once this is reduced down, it's going to start to get thick, and this is going to be creating your sauce. Okay, a lot of sauces you'll thicken with flour and water, or you can use a roux, which is with flour and water is a whitewash. A roux is like butter and flour. Okay, equal parts. Alright, so now I got some Gorgonzola cheese. Gorgonzola cheese is not as heavy as blue cheese, okay, but it's nice and mild, so we're just going to go ahead and add that as well. Very simple, very quick sauce. And as we add those, I can take a look at this. Alright? And here's the thing about cooking. If it's a little too thick, I'll just add some more cream. Just like so. Alright? And we're just going to kind of melt that down. Gorgonzola's in there. It's getting all happy. I'm getting happy. You can smell it. You get the bacon, you get the mushrooms, you get the cream. This is going to go over our steak and it's going to be fantastic. we're reducing that down. The mushrooms are cooked. All right. And now we have our sauce, our mushroom bacon gorgonzola sauce for our... All right, so now it's time to grill our steak. Okay, I took that steak, I put it out at room temperature for about an hour. I got my salt, I got my pepper, okay, and I got a little bit of garlic on there, and I got my Worcestershire sauce. You can do this outside on a grill. I have a nice grill pan, cast iron. All right, and so grilling is very simple. It's not, well, not very simple, but it's also not very difficult. A lot of people want to go ahead and play with the steak, and what you want to do when you're cooking steak, you could measure your doneness multiple different ways. There's a little restaurant trick that I show my students all the time when you're grilling steak. First of all, get that pan nice and hot, or get that grill nice and hot. All right, because you want to get that nice char on there. The fat's going to melt right on there. It's going to get all nice and flavorful, okay, especially with all the caramelization of all the ingredients that are on there. But if you take this fat part of your hand right here, and you take your two fingers and you put it like this, and you touch that fat part of your hand, it's nice and soft, okay, because that muscle right there, that is rare. If you go to the second finger, that's going to be medium rare. If you go to the third finger, that's going to be medium. Medium well and beyond is that. So you're feeling that muscle and you're feeling how that flexes. That's how you can tell the doneness, because if I touch this steak while it's cooking, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to be able to temperature it. So we're just going to put it on there. We're going to let it sit, all right, for a little bit. So as it sits, okay, we're grilling this meat, all right, you can go ahead and you get yourself a nice pair of tongs. So you want to lift on this a little bit. You can see lines going across. You quarter turn it, all right, and then we just let that sit again. All right, a lot of people want to move their stuff around the grill and they want to poke at it and they're like, leave it alone. It didn't do anything to you, so let it go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and grill that down. And this ribeye really doesn't take too long when you're grilling it. So you got a couple minutes on each side, okay? I mean, if it's a thicker steak, you could always grill it and you could finish it off in the oven. You could get a thermometer and take a temperature of it, 125, let it rest. Okay, that would be like a nice, 120 would be a nice rare steak. 125, let it rest, that would be like a medium rare steak. 130, let it rest. Okay, you always want to let your steak rest so everything goes back into the middle, all the juices. And that'll be like a nice medium steak. 130, 135 is more medium well. And then you're going to go up to 145 is done. So if you're going to measure it, and you don't want one of those thermometers like you have at home that you used to leave in the roast and you put it inside the oven. Okay, you just want one of the spot thermometers that you can just go ahead and check. So I took it, it was turned this way. I let the grill marks go on it, and then I turned it a quarter turn, is what we call it in the restaurant, just that way. All right, now we're going to flip it over. And what you've created are these nice little diamonds for a nice presentation on this steak. And we're going to do the same with this side. Starting off going this way, we're going to let it grill for a while. We're going to let it cook. At this point, I'm just going to touch it. I know it's rare because I just turned it. All right? So we're going to go ahead, and we're going to get nice char on that. And I'm going to quarter turn it the other way as well. All right? So you only really want to turn it like 4 times. And then you just let it go. And you can just feel it and touch it at the same time. Okay? So, we're going to go ahead and quarter turn this one more time. Alright? And we're going to finish this up and we're going to plate this up with our nice sauce. Alright, so now it's time to plate our steak, okay? I took the steak off the grill, okay, and it's just sitting here, okay? We got a nice char on it. You want to let your steak rest for at least 5 minutes before you serve it. But we're going to go ahead and plate it. So we did our green beans, we got our nice potato hash, and we got that fantastic sauce, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our hash. I got a nice, oval plate here, or not oval plate, I mean rectangle plate here. And I'm just going to put some of this hash right down the middle of this, just like so. All right, so in the restaurant industry, we try to make our plates look all fancy and nice, okay? Because people eat with their eyes, all right? So, a nice little pile of our potatoes right down the middle. And then I'm going to take some of my green beans here, and I'm going to go kind of just crisscross them. I'm going to put them right in the middle. Some of the almonds in there with it so you can see it on the edges. Alright, so this is going to be a nice steakhouse style steak. Green beans, almondine. Alright, we're just going to put that there. Alright, and then I'm going to take my steak. Put it right on top, just like so. Alright, last but not least, the sauce. Okay? See this nice mushroom sauce. A little bit of that right on top of this. Just like so. It's nice and thick. You got the mushrooms, you got the Gorgonzola cheese, you got the bacon, okay? And we always want to garnish, so I got some chopped chives that I was using. Put that around the plate, just like so. Alright? And add some whole chives. Just take them and put them like this. Alright? The whole plate fit for a king. I'm telling you right now, once you try this, this is a disclaimer, I'm going to warn you, tears are going to be rolling down your face. You're going to be like, oh my God, chef, I can't even look at you right now. This is so fantastic, okay? So we got a grilled ribeye steak. We got a nice southwestern potato hash, green beans, almondine, and then we got a mushroom bacon gorgonzola cream sauce over the top of it. You can't go wrong. I'll see you guys next time.